to make sure that regardless of who you are or what you are or where you're from, it should be equal opportunities for you. But I sometimes wonder, is that enough? Because at the end of the day, I am still a middle-aged man who looks at the world, white man, who looks at the world through that lens. And I'm also a straight man, so I tick all the boxes of the middle of the road. And so I often wonder, Marie, is it enough? And from someone who has broken glass ceilings in your own career, is it enough? And what have you seen in your world that, you would advise me to do, or you'd advise anyone watching this to do?
Yeah. I think it's very easy to be, neutral to bias in the way that you approach leadership. So what I mean by that is, this concept that the military could be a gender-neutral environment. So we would take in anyone and everyone got the same training, everyone got the same process, everyone's run through the same steps. You had all the same opportunities. But then when you go in a minority setting, it doesn't feel like you have the same opportunities sometimes because either of your own bias and your own thought process or an assumption that you may have about what might be a career limiter, but for somebody else it isn't. And we've spoken about this, like how, first in terms of bias around gender, at a certain stage in your life you decide you're going to have a family. I don't know, did my husband think about the impact on him when he had children, but I know for me, I was thinking before even it occurred, how is this going to affect my career? And then you have difficult conversations in your head, and I don't know if you've ever had anyone come to tell you they're pregnant, but there's a nervousness as a woman when you walk into a room.
When I think about it, there's been a few situations where I've noticed that women apologise for being pregnant. And why would you apologise for being pregnant?
Yeah.
But it's obviously there.
I think that's exactly it. Like it's a bias, it's a societal bias. You don't know when you walk into the room, and I would hope that's evolving and that's changing. And I would hope that somewhere like Ingenium, where you look at the workforce and from the top of the organisation all the way through, now you have a gender balance and a gender balanced leadership team. And I think that's kind of you have to see it to be it in terms of breaking the bias. So I would hope for the younger members of the team, both male, female, however they identify, that because they look at our leadership team and they see, diversity in age, diversity in profile, diversity in terms of family situation, that is that piece where I would hope in 10 or 15 or, actually my kids are 5 and 6, so maybe 25 or 30 years time, when they're walking into a room, because I have 2 girls, to tell their boss that they're pregnant, that they won't have that sense of, does it impact on my career? And I think that's another really strong piece for me in working in a very diverse company, especially from the age perspective. I'm learning all the time, like what it's like to be a young person now, because they have different thought processes, they're exposed to different things. So, I have a bias as to what it's like to be 23, 4, 5, but I don't actually know. So I think that piece of understanding different generations, that's a huge asset for us as people, but then also for us as consultants, for us as people who are going to advise in other organisations, because we're getting that feedback here. And I think that's another strong factor into breaking the bias.